Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. Today's video was inspired by a recent release, The Bromance Book Club by Lacey K. Adams. This one just came out last week, and one of my favorite things about this book was the bromance in this book between the members of the hero's baseball team who formed together to create a bromance book club that reads romance books. That part of this book was so charming and so funny. I really enjoyed those baseball players being happy together, unashamed of reading and loving romance books together. So I thought I would make a list of some of my other favorite fictional bromances and some of the other romance books that I've read. The bromances that I chose to add to this list are not made up of brothers, but like actual non-related or non-familial people who've come together. Either they met as young kids or as adults and just formed this incredible bond with each other that has nothing to do with blood, but at the same time goes as deep, if not more deep than that. I do later on want to do a list of some of my favorite brothers in romances, so keep an eye out for that. I also want to do like my favorite girl friendships in romances, but for right now I'm just going to focus on my favorite male friendships in romance books. So I'm going to start off with one of my favorites, which is the Wild Season series by Christina Lauren. Technically only the first 3 books are with the bromance because the first 3 heroes are best friends, the last one is not. So these 3 books with Ansel, Finn, and Oliver, I believe they first met for some bike marathon thing. They're from all over the world. Ansel is from France, Finn is from Canada, and Oliver is from Australia. They come together for this bike competition thing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they biked across Europe and bonded over that. So now they're best friends. And then in the first book, Sweet Filthy Boy, they go to Vegas together and all 3 of them end up getting married. All 3 of these books are like an oops, we accidentally got married in Vegas. In this first book, Ansel tries to make it work with the heroine Mia. The second and third book, I think they do get an annulment, but obviously things work out in the end. But I love these 3 guys. Anytime they're together, it's always like a really fun time. I love that they bonded over biking. Like, I don't think I've ever read something like that before. Don't get me wrong, the 4th book is also great too. I love it. But the first 3 books have such a great bromance. And if you haven't already read these, do it. They are so sexy, so fun. The second book, I actually listened to the audio after I read the book, and that was literally the first audiobook that I ever listened to, and I immediately fell in love with all audiobooks. So the audiobook versions of these are great too. Christina Lauren always has great audiobooks. So yeah, read this series. My next series is the 21 Wall Street series by Lauren Lane. The series is like a Wolf of Wall Street kind of series. All 3 of the heroes are Wall Street hotshots, and they are all co-workers at an investment broker company in New York. They all met each other through this company and worked their way up from the bottom to where they are now, the successful men that they are now. In the first book, Hot Asset, we get Ian, who is the self-made man of the trio. He is actually being investigated by the SEC for some insider trading, and he falls for the SEC agent who is investigating him. In the second book, Hard Sell, we get Matt, who is the youngest successful stockbroker in New York. He's known as the Boy Wonder, but after some unfortunate scandalous headlines, he is forced to clean up his image and get a girlfriend. So his story is a fake relationship trope with one of his longtime enemies slash frenemies. And then the last book, Huge Deal, we have Kennedy, who is the only one who is born into wealth, like crazy wealth of the trio, and he falls for his assistant. Throughout the series, there have been teases of Kennedy and his assistant Kate. So this book was a much awaited book for me. Kate is actually the assistant for all 3 of them, just because she is that good. I love these 3 guys. They always give each other a hard time. They especially give Kennedy a hard time, who is like the stoic and more cold one, so they like to pick on him, and his non-relationship with Kate, who everyone knows like they have a crush on each other. It's such a great series. If you've read Lauren Lane's Central Park Pack series, you definitely want to read this series as well. My next series is the Guild Hunter series by Nalini Singh. This one has Raphael and his 7. So this series is a little weird in terms of reading order because it kind of skips around between the main couple, who are Elena and Raphael, and then we get like interspersed between those books are the standalone couples that are about Raphael's 7. So Raphael is the Archangel of New York in this urban fantasy series, and in the 7 there are angels, vampires, and some other strange creatures that you find out later on what they are in their book. They are all very, very old and very, very close, of course. They're his closest confidants and people he would trust with his life and with his love's life. Dimitri, who is his second in command and basically the leader of the 7, they've known each other for like 1,000 or 2,000 years. They are best of friends, and Dimitri, he gets his book in the 4th book in the series. The first 3 books are about Elena and Raphael, and then we get Dimitri's standalone. I just love the dynamic of not just Dimitri and Raphael, but like the entire 7 with each other. I love Bluebell. I'm really hoping we get a story for him. I just love that as dangerous as they are and as powerful as they are, they let their guards down when they're with each other. They trust each other and would do anything for each other. I also love that they grow close and grow to love Elena, who is Raphael's consort. Like, they would also put their lives on the line for Elena. As much as I love Elena and Raphael, I also love the stories about his 7. So this one is about Viper, and then this one is Nasir. Nasir, I think, is the youngest of the group. He is basically seen as Dimitri's son, although vampires can't have children, not really. Currently though, 5 of the 7 have their stories told. One of them is only a novella, which was a little sad, but I mean, I'm glad I still got a story. That one is Galen's, and we still have 2 more left, Bluebell and Aiden. At this point, I'm not sure if they'll end up being together because they are the closest one of the 7 to each other, or if they get their own individual stories. I have no idea, but whatever Nalini Singh puts out, I'm gonna read it. Next is the Line of Duty series by Tessa Bailey. This one follows a group of men in the New York Police Department. The first book, Protecting What's His, is about the lieutenant, and then the rest of the series we have a homicide detective, a regular cop, a sniper, and a hostage negotiator. This one, the 5th book, is with the sniper. These group of 5 men are very close to each other, of course, working together in the NYPD. They do have a little bit of a different relationship with Tyler, the lieutenant, just because he is a lieutenant, but at the end of the day, they are really close friends. The 2nd book with Troy, he is the new transfer, but they do welcome him into the NYPD from Chicago. The 3rd and 4th book with Trent and Daniel, those 2 are definitely like the more playful and charming kind of guys who love to pick on each other and the other guys, and especially Matt, who ends up falling for Brent's little sister. They're all just so much fun to read. I love them. I love their filthy mouths. They can dirty talk like no other. This book was the one that started everything with Tessa Bailey. It was her debut novel, and it was my first book of hers, and I just fell so in love with her books, her dirty, dirty books. And they're all alpha heroes, of course. Tessa Bailey, not sure she can write any other kind of hero, but I don't mind it. It's a fantastic cop hero series. If you love men in uniform, definitely read the series. And speaking of dirty, I have the Happy Ending series, which is all about stripper heroes. If you love Magic Mike kind of stuff, this series is for you. We've got a trio of Playboy strippers who end up falling for their heroines. I almost wish that we got a book for every single stripper in their troupe, but we only get these 3, and they are so good. I love them. Zoe Castell is a fantastic writer. I can't wait to see what else she has in store for us. All the guys in their performance troupe, they're all super close together. They were all taken in kind of as strays by their leader Rick, and now they're all bonded together and can dance like no other. You get a really good sense of their brotherhood, I guess, in Flashed, especially because the hero in this one, after an accident, he leaves everything behind, including his brothers, and then towards the end they all come together to help him, and they're all just amazing guys, total sweethearts. I was really surprised by how sweet the series was, just because, you know, going into this I expected something really hot and really dirty, and while it is that, there's also like the slower, sweeter, charming moments that make the series just so great. And of course, I can't have a bromance list without some sort of sports romance on it, and I had a hard time trying to narrow it down just to one because I didn't want to flood it all with sports romances. And I already talked about the Off-Campus series and the Game On series, but I haven't talked about the Brooklyn Bruiser series as a whole. The Brooklyn Bruiser series is a hockey romance series from Serena Bowen. It's one of my favorites, and I just love the guys in the series so much. We also get kind of a spin-off in the Brooklyn series with some other team members or some newer team members, as well as the team's owner. But for the first 3 books, we have the newbie to the team, we have the captain, and then we have the goalie. All 3 of them form an amazing bond, but of course they can't help but tease each other all the time, and especially tease their captain, who is the more aloof one of their group. They all come together and become really close friends, and a lot of the time throughout the series they also help each other throughout their relationship woes, helping them win over the heroine's heart. I think the captain in Hard Hitter, he helped a lot of the other team members when it came to love after he fell in love for the first time. So that is so cute. But honestly, any sports romance series that follows along team members of whatever sport, they more than likely have a really great and strong bromance in it. There's always team bonding moments, especially in the locker room or when they're like traveling to whatever place they need to play a game. I love those little moments. I love when the whole team is together. Sports romances are just my fave. On a kind of similar note, I had to add this Rockstar series, the Sinners on Tour series by Olivia Cunning. This is probably my all-time favorite Rockstar series ever. I love it so much. Definitely one of my favorite erotic romance series too. So this series follows a 5-member group, the Sinners, and each of them gets their own book. Backstage Pass is the first book in the series and the one that started it all. This one we have the hero, who is Brian. He's the lead songwriter and guitarist, and he falls for a psychologist. Some of the guys in the band have known each other since childhood. The others they met when they were forming this band, but after such a long time being in the band together, going on tours together, being stuck in tour buses together for days, months, they've all grown very close. They've all seen each other naked hundreds of times because they do some ridiculous sexual exploits all over the bus all the time. In this book, Wicked Beat, Eric, the hero, actually likes to watch. He is a bit of a voyeur, and the other members don't mind letting him watch them when they do stuff. So it's a hot series, one of the sexiest that I've ever read. Book 3 touches on BDSM, and the 5th book is a threesome menage romance. I just love this group of men. They are as close as brothers, if not more, although they do sometimes get in spats just because they're together for such a long time. Of course, there are problems that come up, but at the end of the day, they'll do anything for each other. They've all attended each other's weddings and been each other's best mans. They're just so much fun. I love this series. If you love Rockstar series, definitely check this one out. It is unabashedly sexual and just so good. Obviously, I couldn't talk about a brotherhood without including the Black Dagger Brotherhood. There's honestly no group of men, of guys like these brothers. They have their whole thing going on for them, practically their own lingo. I just love these boys. Book 2, Rage, is still my favorite of all of them. I honestly don't know what else there is to say about this series because it's been talked about so much, not just by me, but like everyone else. So if you haven't read it, do it. You will fall in love with this world, with this group of brothers who will do anything for each other. And last is the historical romance series that I chose. I was kind of between this series and Tessa Dare, but for Tessa Dare I haven't finished that series that I was thinking about, so I just went with the Rules of Scoundrel series by Sarah MacLean. This series follows 4 scoundrels who rule the London underworld. They formed together, they were all aristocrats, and they were exiled from high society and now banded together to form this infamous and successful gaming hell in the London underworld. So now they're basically ruling the London underworld and making a ton of money from it. They're all equal partners and understand each other in a way that no one else does, being exiled from society. This series was what got me into historical romance, and I still love it so much. My favorite is One Good Earl Deserves a Lover, book 2, but the whole series is great. I still remember when I read the ending of No Good Duke Goes Unpunished, and there's some major plot twists and I was just agog from it. The series is great if you're new to historical romance like I was when I went into this. It's great if you're not new to historical romance. It's just a fantastic series with a great bromance. Those were some of my favorite bromances in romance books. Let me know what your favorites are, if you love any of these, if you have some other favorite bromances in whatever books you've read, let me know. I love romances so much, although I will definitely be coming out with a favorite girl group kind of list. So again, let me know your favorite bromances. I'll list all the books in the description below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!